Today's story comes from our brother Abdulrahman, an Egyptian man living in Saudi Arabia. Now, Abdulrahman was the kind of guy who never believed in the supernatural, especially stories about Jinn. He'd never seen anything strange with his own eyes, so whenever he heard these tales, he just dismissed them, saying, "Come on, that stuff doesn't really happen." But one night, destiny had other plans, and he was about to witness something that would change his mind forever. This happened about 17 years ago. Abdulrahman, who's from Alexandria, decided to go on a weekend trip with two of his friends to a place called Abu Talat on the north coast. Abu Talat is a resort village filled with luxurious summer homes owned by the wealthy. In the summer, it's bustling with life, but in the winter, it becomes a ghost town. The only year-round residents are a small number of Bedouins. Otherwise, it's completely deserted, cold, and eerily quiet. One of Abdulrahman's friends owned a large villa there, and being young and adventurous, they thought it would be a thrill to spend a weekend in the empty village. They arrived on a Thursday evening at this huge house, surrounded by a tall fence and a big garden. Right next to it was a small mosque with a green minaret, which gave them a sense of comfort in the desolate landscape. That night, they were sitting in the garden under the moonlight, enjoying the cool winter air and just chatting. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful. Suddenly, one of them suggested, "Hey, what do you say we take a walk around the village?" Remember, this place was completely empty. The only sounds were the howling of distant dogs and the wind rustling through the trees. No lights, no people, just silence and shadows. But the three friends, fueled by youthful curiosity, decided to go for it. They knew there were a lot of stray dogs in the area, but they weren't worried. As they walked, a few dogs would approach, but a couple of small stones thrown in their direction was enough to scare them off. They continued their walk, and soon it was around 2 in the morning. That's when they noticed something different. 2 dogs were following them, but these weren't like the others. They were completely silent, moving with a strange, heavy calmness. They didn't bark or act aggressive. They just trailed behind them, their presence feeling oddly serious. Abdulrahman said they tried to ignore them at first, since they weren't causing any trouble. But every time the friends crossed a street, the 2 dogs would follow, keeping a steady distance. Eventually, they came to the entrance of a dark, unsettling road. It was lined with dense trees on both sides, creating a canopy that blocked out what little moonlight there was. As they were about to enter, the 2 dogs suddenly stopped. They became agitated, whining and pacing back and forth, as if desperately trying to warn them not to go down that path. But the 3 friends, feeling brave, just brushed it off and walked straight in. The moment they stepped onto that road, Abdulrahman said a deep, unnatural chill shot through their bodies. It was a feeling of pure dread. They walked a little further, and that's when they started hearing it. Faint at first, but growing louder. Strange, terrifying sounds coming from the distance. It was a chorus of screams and cries, unlike anything human or animal. He said he couldn't tell if it was people, wolves, or monkeys. They were sounds he has never heard again in his life. The noises grew closer and closer, faster and faster, until it felt like they were completely surrounded. It sounded like hundreds of angry, echoing voices closing in from every direction. One of his friends panicked and yelled, "Let's get out of here." Abdulrahman tried to stay calm, thinking maybe it was a Bedouin funeral, but he knew they lived far from this part of the village. The terrifying sounds were now right on top of them. They turned and ran, sprinting back the way they came, reciting every prayer and verse they could remember. The chaos of screams pursued them, until they finally burst out of the dark road, and just like that, the sounds stopped. Complete and utter silence fell once again, and the 2 dogs, they were long gone. It was clear they had fled, as if they knew exactly what was on that road, and had tried their best to warn the boys away. A few days later, curiosity got the better of them, and they went back to that same road during the bright light of day. They found a new villa under construction. The foreman was there, shouting at his workers, "Turn on the Quran radio. Louder. Don't you dare turn it off." Abdulrahman and his friends approached him, shared what they had experienced, and asked if he knew anything. The man became visibly nervous, quickly denying everything. No, nothing like that happens here," he said, urging them to leave. But his insistence on keeping the Quran playing at full volume told them everything they needed to know. He was clearly hiding something. Reflecting on this, Abdulrahman realized this event was a stark warning. He ended his story with some powerful advice for all of us, especially the youth. He said, "Never take risks by going to abandoned houses, empty villas, or haunted places just for a thrill. You are putting yourself in real danger." He reminded us of the verse from the Quran, "Do not throw yourselves into destruction with your own hands." He also shared a teaching from the Prophet, peace be upon him. If the devils disturb you, call the Adhan, the call to prayer, for the Adhan drives them away. Abdulrahman said, if they had just remembered to call the Adhan that night, the entire terrifying experience might have been avoided. It's a powerful reminder that in moments of fear, our faith can be our strongest shield. Thanks for listening to Abdulrahman's incredible story. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories. Stay safe out there.